welcome you to this Labor Day edition of the Phil Taylor Jones Show. It is our sincere hope that you are having the best of day with your family and friends, celebrating the, official close of summer. Well, we never stop working for you, even on Labor Day, we're here. Yes, we're here to focus on Decision 2016 and the craziness that surrounds it. I'm Phil Taylor Jones, your host, and let's talk about a few things. You know, I, in this world, notice that you can say hi to somebody and encumber a lawsuit. Or you can go to a fast food restaurant and knowingly buy hot coffee or something and allow it to spill on you and then sue them and recoup lots of money. Well, I got to thinking about that thing and I said, we should get together as a people and put together a class action lawsuit against both the Republican Party and the Democratic Party for presenting us, especially this year, with two of the most disgusting, ridiculous, laughable, untrusted, and I can't think of any other nasty things to say about these two dirtbags, both Trump and Clinton. Before you go get a job, before you allow someone to do a job for you, whether it be home improvement or if you have a business and you want to hire people, there are background checks that are done. There's a simplistic background check, and then I guess contingent upon what you want done or the employee you want, there are more extensive background checks. Before you go to lease an apartment or rent an apartment, the landlord or his or her concierge may do a background check to see what kind of tenant is entering the building. You're investigated for certain other things that you may need to have happen. In middle school, in senior high school, if you want to run for the office of student body president, there is a certain criteria by which you must meet before you can even be considered to enter that race. Interesting, isn't it? How for this biggest job in the land, possibly even the world, that we've had two people before us to vote on for that office that have checkered pasts. Of all of the things that Hillary Clinton has done and has been accused of, the one that sticks out furthermost in my mind are those 4 people that were slaughtered in Benghazi. The 3 servicemen and the 1 diplomat. I can just see that day or that night in which they lost their lives. Finally to see, trucks coming down the road or vehicles coming down the road and saying, oh, wow, finally they come to save us. And then as they get closer, to see guns trained on you. And then your ultimate death. That must have been the most horrifying, the most helpless, I can't even begin to describe what those people must have felt before they met a most uncommon, undeniably horrible, gruesome death at the hands of this woman, Hillary Clinton. But what even boggles my mind further than that is the willingness of some American citizens to want to pick up a pen and go vote for her. That just boggles my mind. How could you want to do that? Then with all this email scandal, to have the director of the FBI say of you that you were careless and that you are irresponsible. and then again have people pick up a pen and be ready to walk out that door and vote for such an irresponsible and careless person to what? Enter the most important job in a civilized nation, or a civilized world for that matter. It boggles my mind. Not only should these two parties be sued, but the heads of these two parties, the administrators of these two parties, need to be imprisoned for frauding the American people. Then when you look at this orange-haired Trumpy, the guy is connected to organized crime. Guy is connected to white supremacists. The guy opens that garbage can of a mouth of his and lets everything spew out. He has crooked dealings. He's been fined. He's been sued. He's been brought up on minor criminal charges. 3,500 to be exact. Just by what he says and does, lets you know that he has no business, just like his buddy Hillary Clinton, of being in the White House. But yet, the Republican Party dusted him off, pushed him out in front of the public and said, look at this. And this is the best we can do. These two cranks, these two pitiful messes are the best we can do. And better yet, this is the best that these two parties can present. Yet they are at the forefront, spending big bucks, calling in those markers for the different crooks they associate with to keep the independent party from even getting on the radar. So in essence, they are cheating us left and right by making us believe, by working together with the news whores to make us believe that these two cranks, these two imbeciles, Clinton and Trumpy, are the only ones that are out there for us to vote for. And you call this a democracy. You call this fairness. The exec has alluded to many times that if you have a legitimate party recognized in the United States as a legitimate party, once they get their nominee in place, there should be debating for every one of them. Now, if you want to break it down by various parties, so be it. If you want to have a Republican one, a Democratic one, and an independent one, so be it. But when it comes to the general election, you stop departmentalizing, you bring them together on the debate stage for all America to see and hear, so that an informed decision can be made. And you never allow criminals to run for president. You never allow objectionable people to run for president. I find it very interesting that you can go apply for a job at a convenience store, and you may not get it if you've got a checkered past. Pretty much assured you won't get it. But yet they allow this for the election of the President of the United States. Somebody ought to call a cop. There's no way for either one of these two people that are in the front running position now to be there. And to not have someone like Jill Stein on the stage. Not even to have someone like Jill Stein to even be firmly fixed on the radar. This is ludicrous. This is disgusting. And certainly it's un-American. Oh, well, they're the only two we have a chance to vote for. I'm not going to vote for Trumpy. I'm going to vote for Hillary. Or I'm not going to vote for Hillary. I'm going to vote for Trumpy because he can make America great again. You better believe that, darling. Make America great again. This guy can't even hire American workers to build his buildings. He can't even make the stuff that he makes here in America. He's got it coming from foreign countries. Stronger together. When has she ever been strong with anybody except her own self-serving murderous family? And these are the people that you want to vote for in November. Come on, folks, we're smarter than that. They're handing us a bag of worms. We're smarter than that. I know that we are. Jill Stein needs our help. She needs those signatures. Get her on the debate stage. She needs our help to get her on the ballots of the cities or states that she hasn't achieved already. Again, I say, do you want a crook? Is that the best you think you can do? You want to vote for these crooked people? You claim you want to make America great again? Well, making America great again is voting for a president, or at least a candidate, that is scandal-free. Every time you look around, you want your candidate bashed on national telly and knowing that it's true. At what time do you stop saying, oh, well, the news media, they're treating him badly, or the news media, they're treating her badly? Yeah, the news media is a cracker, you know what. We know that. But at which time do we start pulling our boats out of that river? You know the one I'm talking about. The one that's not only in Egypt, the river, the Nile. When do we pull our boats out of there and say, okay, let's stop the dumb crap and realize that these two people, these angels that these greedy parties have put before us, have dirty faces? Or do we continue on? We need to stop, we need to think it, we need to act, and we need to do it quick. We're 5 days into September. We've only got October, and then, hey, bam, we're in it. So once again, I urge you to stop and think about that Stein Baraka ticket. The Independent Party, the Green Party. Green means go. The blue and the blue and the red ones. Blue, sadness. Red, anger. And if either one of those two, Trumpy or Hillary, gets into the White House, this poor rock is doomed. Count on it. Because neither one knows how to really run the country. One is proficient at being crooked, and the other is proficient at being greedy. Well, they're both proficient at being greedy, and I guess they're both greedy crooks. So why would you want that in the White House? I think the exec has something for us.
Well, as far as Jill's debate petitions go, we'd like to give you an update to see how far she's gotten out of 100,000 signatures. She's now at 94,719, closing in, but still not there. You know, and as to add on to your analogy, if I can, green being go, red red being anger, and blue being depression, sadness. I'll go even further to say red can also mean stop, and if you put the red in there, the country's definitely going to stop. But as far as these two candidates go, as you alluded to, they're both very extremely crooked. You have Trump, where in the last show we spoke about him, is falsifying donation records to buffer his tax returns or whatever reason he wants to do that. Come to find out, at least 20 of them never got the donations he claimed he did. And even further, doing another illegal activity as far as an attorney general took his Trump University and didn't come out the way she planned it and was suing him, and he made a campaign donation to her as the attorney general, running for the attorney general position, obviously, to get her to not say anything, and she didn't sue him or anything, you know. So there's that, along with the 3,500 people suing him for that Trump University, among other things. There's the not allowing black people to come into his hotels bit, and
No, I think you're talking about the renting.
renting,
of
going into or renting,
yeah, back with his father.
And there's many other things that don't bear mentioning. You can find it out for yourselves. And as far as this Clinton thing goes, we'll put a link in the description. I somehow came upon this. There's this documentary, about an hour and 10 minutes, called Clinton Cash. And it shows all the crooked dealings that the Clintons do with their money. Now, the first thing that I actually listened to that was mentioned before just the introduction and everything was that the president of Africa at the time, Paul Anward or something like that, I'd have to look it up and put it in the description. But either way, well, I guess I could look it up while I'm talking about it. Either way, he has been recognized as breaking human rights violations many times by the United Nations, which includes funding wars in, I believe, Congo, which is a neighboring area where he is president at, and includes making kids fight in the war and everything. However, Bill Clinton is actually endorsing him, giving him praise, and even further, giving him awards, for the way he runs as a president. And I got the wrong one, so it must be 2008, I believe. That's when they were running. But how can you support someone and give someone a award for running a country well when they're breaking all these different violations of human rights groups? That doesn't make any sense.
Nothing they do makes any sense.
Okay, now so we can find this person's name really quick. I don't want to take too long, but I'll just do a quick search. No, that's not the one. Paul Kagame, that's the one. President of Rwanda, 2000 to present. That's the one that is breaking these human rights violations, and a husband of her supports something like that. I made a joke this morning, you kind of laughed about it, when Bastard and her were running for president. I wish she kind of did make it so we wouldn't have to endure Bastard all these years, and she would have exhausted her allotted for 8 years of running, so we wouldn't have to be bothered with her anymore. Now we have a chance to actually get her in office and be bothered with the hell she's going to give to the United States with all her crookedness and wrongdoings, Talk about swapping the devil for his wife. But, these people don't see the alternative comments on those videos. That video I mentioned, people are saying that I'm going to vote for Trump to make sure Hillary doesn't get in there. Well, you don't realize there is a third choice. These people mention, what about third party? What about Johnson, And the people saying that's just as bad as getting Clinton or Trump in there, and nobody seemed to mention Jill Stein. She's out there in the news because I got to this thing about Jill Stein questioning Clinton's, preparedness or willing, actually being able to run for the office, after all the crooked emails. Qualified, that's the word. Thank you. I found that on Google now. If you have an Android phone, you can swipe far to the left as possible, and there's different news bites of stuff you're following. She's only out of this 7 to 10 categories of different news. She was mentioning 2 different things. Something about the people running for office, and they said something about Clinton getting gored. She's not gored. She's going full steam ahead, And the thing was about, let's see, Ralph Nader says I'm not a spoiler, and neither is Jill Stein. They say that him running was a spoiler, and that's why Bill Clinton made it. And what's the excuse for him getting nationally recognized? And I believe he was on debates, correct me if I'm wrong, as a Green Party candidate, and Jill Stein is barely even in the news because he was more popular. That's not fair at all. How's that democracy, like you explained? But we need to get the right person in office. We need to get her in the debate stage. We need more signatures. And it's not looking good, but we'll do the best we can to get her her ideas out there, her philosophy out there, Jill2016.com. Try to get someone in that's not a crook, that does have a clean past, that's trying to keep the present and the future clean, as a Green Party, and also a person that cares about the planet and about getting the country back into people's hands. We need to get Jill Stein in there, and that's all there is to it.
Very true. And you know, I shudder to think when these politicians try to spread this democracy all over the world and tell people, or attempt to tell other nations how to run their nation. And here we are clamoring for and working hard for a candidate that's not even on the radar, that very well should be, while these two dirtbags, Hillary and Trumpy, are getting all the accolades and all of the criticisms and what have you, good, bad, or indifferent. They're talking about Hillary's health, you know, whether or not she's wearing a catheter, or whether or not she's got a urine bag or whatever on her, whether or not she's wearing diapers or she's incontinent or what have you. There have been a lot of presidents in back history that have had health problems. FDR was in a wheelchair. JFK had extreme problems with his back because of an injury in the Navy on the PT boat. You know, there have been a lot of presidents that had illnesses. That didn't detract from their willingness and their ability to be presidents. If Clinton has a problem, then she has a health problem. With the way Trumpy is always going off the rails, nobody seems to question his mental status. You know, the guy acts like a nut, like he's either bipolar or he's got, you know, multiple personalities or what have you. It's just mind-boggling at the stupidity of many of our American citizens. They were talking about, you know, Hillary and the debates, whether or not she wants to drop out because she's afraid of Donald Trump. From what I can see, Hillary is the one that's a pretty good debater. She has no reason to fear Trump. Trump is an attacker. He's not a debater. The guy speaks like a third grader. He doesn't have the ability of debating. Remember, during the presidential debates for the Republicans, there was many a time when he stood there with very long stints of silence because he didn't know how to interject himself into the debate. See, before you can debate, you've got to understand what it is you're debating. The guy has very limited understanding of probably most anything based upon what I've seen and heard of him. Now, I'm pretty sure they got him off somewhere trying to preen and prep him for the debate. But if you're not able to do something, you're not able to do it. You're going to come off looking pretty stupid. So I don't think that Hillary Clinton is the one that's quaking in their boots right now. She was going to be quaking had Marco Rubio got in there, because he's a very good debater. Very good debater. And she would have been up against her element against him. But since she's gone and Trumpy took place, she's not afraid of him. You know, not that I'm caring about either one of them, but I'm just stating a fact. What needs to happen is to have somebody truly on that debate stage that can take both of them on and win it. Because Jill Stein is a very, very eloquent debater. She knows. She feels for people. She feels for the situation. She's going into it with an honest heart and no baggage, unlike these two dregs of society, that these two greedy political parties who should be imprisoned have presented to us to vote for. It's ludicrous. And America, we should be ashamed of ourselves for letting it happen. We should be, as I said before, filing class action lawsuits against these two greedy parties for defrauding us, for misappropriation of funds, you name it. We should be suing them for that. And the administrators of these two parties should be marched out for the world to see in handcuffs and thrown into prison until 5,000 years in a dark day for doing this to the American people, for robbing us of candidates that we should be voting for robbing us of our money, and for robbing us of our votes and our ability to make this country flourish as it should be by voting in the right people. It's a shame. Before we close it out, you got anything else, Exec? All right. We thank you for letting us steal a little bit of your holiday, and we certainly hope you're having a great one. After we get through with this show, boy, oh boy, the Exec and I are gonna party down and chow down on some good, tasty food, and sort of kick back and enjoy the rest of this day. So certainly don't work too hard, but keep that smile on your face in this nutty, crazy world that is la la loo. Try to stay sane and safe. And remember to dump the hate and increase the peace. Happy Labor Day from the Phil Taylor Jones Show. Bye-bye.